Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I got a whole new video for y'all today. So this is gonna be by Young Turk and a Kasperian. She's you know what? Not much introduction is needed. Newport is terrible news for Israel, our biggest ally in the Middle East. Now, if you like me shitting on Israel, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. All right, let's get it.
Research that has been commissioned by the Israeli government reveals that Israel is considered to be a genocidal apartheid country in the eyes of many Europeans. Again, this is based on a study that was commissioned by the Israelis. Back in September, Dropsite News got a hold of this preliminary report that was commissioned by the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs and carried out by an organization known as Stagwell Global, an American polling firm. Now, it's run by Mark Penn, who donated $100,000 to AIPAC after October 7th, 2023, and has ties to the right-wing Likud party in Israel. So again, this entire study, it's commissioned by Israelis. It's supported, and the very polling agency is run by a massive Zionist who donated $100,000 to AIPAC. So this isn't in any way, like shady and made to lie about public perception of Israel. I just want to be very clear about where this comes from. Now, the firm set out to discern what the public's attitude toward Israel currently is and what they know about the genocide in Gaza. The survey asked people in the United States, Germany, the United Kingdom, Spain, and France how many people believed Israel had killed in Gaza and what portion of those people killed were civilians. Respondents in all the countries overwhelmingly said that they mostly killed civilians.
I mean, this is not really a surprise. And plus, this is only Europe. Now imagine if you involve places like Mexico, South America, Africa. You know what I mean?
And they're correct. If you believe the IDF's own data, which pointed to an 83% civilian death rate. In addition, the research found Europeans in particular agree with language of Israel being a genocidal apartheid country. So, the study tried to evaluate the best method for combating negative attitudes toward Israel. And honestly, I think the answer to that is pretty simple. Maybe stop committing a genocide, stop the Greater Israel Project, which is an expansionist project that involves land theft from neighboring countries. But they're unwilling to do that. So here's what they determined. Israel's best tactic is to foment fear of radical Islam and jihadism, which remain high, the research finds. By highlighting Israeli support for women's rights, unless they're Muslim, then they'll get slaughtered. Women's rights and gay rights, while elevating concerns that Hamas wants to destroy all Jews and spread jihadism, Israeli support rebounded by an average of over 20 points in each country, especially once the situation in Gaza is resolved. The room for growth in all countries is very significant, the report concludes. So whatever you do, don't stop the genocide. Keep that going. Instead, just fearmonger about the Muslims. That'll help you out.
Yeah, so in case you guys don't realize something, you guys do know that during the Bolshevik Revolution, over 20 million Christian, not 20 million, I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure it was 60 million Christian pretty much were, unalive. And studying the Bolshevik Revolution, you will realize that the majority of the people in power during that time were, our best allies in the Middle East. Those group of people, they were definitely the one in power during that. The majority of them were in power during that time. So this whole entire idea that Muslims are out to, get rid of Christians and so, name me a time in history when Muslims unalive over 60 million Christians. Now, they always like to allude to the Quran where it says, oh, wherever you find them, you go ahead and unalive them, in the Quran and stuff like that, right? And if you read the context of these things, well, one of the context to one of the verse is pretty much God was talking about the angels. Another one, right? Because I can't go over all the context unless I go deep into the Quran. So I'm just trying to sum it up for you guys here for a second, right? So yeah, another one is, fight the non-believers until they give jizya and so on and so forth. You guys have to understand that this was talking about people who betrayed a treaty. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't talking about people who have done no harm to you. In fact, the Quran even says that you do not attack anybody who has not kicked you out of your home, who has not fought you. None of that. You do not fight these people. So, in the context of the Quran, every single battle in the Quran was defensive. Not every single, about 90% of it was defensive. And the offense, obviously, that's a whole different topic in of itself, and we can get to that one. That's, again, I don't want to get much into theology, but what I am saying is it's a lie. Muslims, we have no problem with Christians. Christians who do not want to attack us, Christians who do not want to subjugate us and then, get us out of our... We have no problem with these people. We can coexist with them hand in hand.
Yeah. So they did a study earlier. We have already seen the results of that study being implemented here in America. As we've been telling you a couple of months ago, all of the Israel First pundits in this country started talking about radical Islam at the same time. Now, when you see, they did a study and found out that's what moves public opinion by 20 points. This is a concerted strategy. That is what we suspected and told you about on air. Now it's confirmed. So they're like, we can't defend Israel. That's too hard. We don't want to change what Israel's doing. We want to keep slaughtering and taking land. So instead, we're going to go dirty Muslims. You should hate the Muslims instead. Radical Islam, jihadism, etc. Guys, so number one, what am I supposed to do with a country that is purposely trying to drive hatred towards the community I grew up in? Am I supposed to like Israel after this? Is that a fair ask? Imagine if another country thought, you know what, it helps our cause to get more money from America by doing this. So let's try to drive up hatred towards Jews. And let's talk about how the Jews are dirty and the Jews are terrorists and the Jews are the worst people on earth. And that way we'll get more money for our Muslim country. Well, I hope, I certainly would condemn that to no end, right? I think it was the worst thing that happened. And my guess is that American media would think that's the worst thing that ever happened, to the point where they might start to agitate for literally attacking and bombing that country and killing its leaders. Israel does it, nothing. Oh yeah, of course, you're supposed to hate the Muslims.
I mean, you gotta understand, Jank. Israel is like our greatest ally. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that comes with special perks. All right, and to list some of the perks that it comes with is that they are free to attack American vessels, right, with no repercussion. They are allowed to assassinate our president. You know what I mean? They're allowed to steal nuclear secrets from us. They're allowed to, record a major event that happened in New York City back in 2001. So yeah, these are the perks that comes with being the special ally that we have.
Well, no, we're not supposed to hate them. It's literally Israeli propaganda so that we'll help them attack their neighbors and keep financing them. And then the second thing I'm kind of conflicted about, I don't want to have evil people determine how I think. At the same time, it's hard not to say now, Cenk, you have to care about anti-Semitism at a microscopic level. One person's feelings were hurt because you criticized or somebody else criticized Israel in a way that they viewed to be 5% out of bounds or 10% out of bounds is slight reference to a potential trope. Meanwhile, that country is saying, hate the Muslims, hate Cenk, hate his family, hate his kids, hate his parents, hate everyone around you. Well, it's leading me to have an emotional reaction that I hope I get past, which is, I'm not really interested in look, if you show me a real case of anti-Semitism, I'm always gonna hate it, and I'm not gonna be in favor of it, ever. You give me all of your fake charges of anti-Semitism, I now loathe it an extra amount. I can't stand it, and I'm not interested in it at all. So yes.
So yeah, one thing that I do want to say is yes, we should not hate a specific group of people simply because of their religion or the skin color. You know what I mean? It's kind of low IQ to do that, right? But the driving motive behind anti-Semitism is by their own hand. They're the one that's doing this to themselves. I've said it in my previous video. Nobody really cares about the Jews. To be quite honest with you, nobody cares. You know what I mean? People say that they're good with money. If they want to go ahead and be good with money and run the financial business, run the bank, as long as they're being fair, why should I care who runs it? I'm not going to lie to you. If they're being fair, I don't really care who runs the bank. It only becomes a problem when you start to pretty much find loopholes to somehow, some way screw the system. And this in result is going to screw over the whole entire country altogether. And that's the result that we are seeing today. People are now saying that, obviously banks, they deal in interest, and interest is a driving factor in a collapse of a society.
That also includes people telling me about how I have to cancel Tucker Carlson or Megyn Kelly or anyone else because they might pop out of a cake and be anti-Semitic at a later time. No, all of your pundits, all of the people in America that is driving pro-Israel policy are vicious, racist, and bigots against Arabs and Muslims. So I have no interest in placating them 1%, and I'm not halfway done through this study. Anna, back to you.
Well, one other thing that I wanted to bring up is that today it was announced that Israel is suspending over 24 humanitarian foundations or organizations, including Doctors Without Borders, from Gaza.
So yeah, just when you thought things couldn't get any worse, somehow, some way, they just pull something out of the hat and said, "Oh, you think we can get any worse?" Well, ta-da! I mean, it's crazy to me, man.
So they're now banning humanitarian organizations, including Doctors Without Borders. They claim that it's because these organizations failed to meet its rules, its new rules. No, we know what this is about.
Yeah, it's the same idea with the yellow line. It's like an invisible line that they have that the Palestinian can't cross. They don't know where the line is, by the way. So yeah, when the Palestinian crosses the line, well, instead of giving them warning like, "Hey, you passed the line, go back." Nope, shoot them. Go to the media. "Oh, they passed the yellow line." Who did? "Oh, it was just a 9-year-old boy playing ball with his brother." They crossed the yellow line, and we don't know where that's at.
So here's the thing. I want people to understand this. If you happen to be a voracious defender or I should say vocal defender of Israel, people are angry with Israel. People have bad feelings toward Israel, not because Israel is the Jewish state.
Nope.
People actually care when they see images and videos and all these stories of innocent people, including many children, getting slaughtered.
But I'm an anti-Semite for saying that my money shouldn't go to go blow up innocent people. You make sense of that.
Day after day. And what makes it even worse is the powerlessness that most people feel when they realize their government doesn't care about them and there's nothing we can do to stop it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's that powerlessness feeling. It's like the biggest black pill ever. And it makes it hard to really care about anything else that's going on. Because if our government doesn't care about us, if we don't actually live in a democracy where the government listens to the people and sees, hey, the majority of Americans don't want to fund this. Majority of Americans do not support this. But it doesn't matter. We get dragged into Israel's conflicts and we get forced to pay for Israel's expansionist policies anyway. I mean, that has a demoralizing effect on the American population. And yeah, it leads to really negative feelings toward Israel. And it has nothing to do with Jewish identity. It has everything to do with an ongoing genocide. And again, expansionist land theft policy that has been implemented by the Likud party and the current government of Israel.
Yeah.
So that's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, I mean, look, of course they don't want more human rights workers. That means they'd have to murder more of them. They've killed 3,200 human rights workers in the last 2 years in Gaza. It's a slaughter unlike anyone has ever seen it with human rights workers. More human rights workers killed than all other conflicts combined. Why? Because Israel targets civilians. 83% civilian kill ratio. They target the press. 253 journalists killed. Again, more than any conflict combined. All the conflicts combined. So it's a vicious genocide. It's as vicious a genocide as I have ever seen in my lifetime. Now, yes, unfortunately, not just pro-Israel zealots, but a lot of Jewish people are taught hey, the rest of the world hates you. They hate the Jews. You should be really worried about everyone that isn't Jewish because they hate you and they probably want to kill you. And oh my God.
Yeah, and that's the driving motive behind continuously doing what they're doing. I mean, people think that they're not aware of what's really going on. They know exactly what's going on. I mean, look at the ADL. If you listen to Jonathan Greenblatt talk about the stats and how anti-Semitism has just skyrocketed, they keep track of all these stats. So the question now is, if they know that the world is starting to turn on them, why do they keep doing what they're doing? Why? Simple. Because when you start to feel like the world is against you, the unity becomes even stronger. And so the whole motive behind this is we need to get as much Jews into where? The Palestine as much as possible. Because you also have to understand from the evangelical situation, right? The Christians believe that in order for Jesus to return, the Jews have to go back into Palestine. That's what they believe. So they're working together. Benjamin Netanyahu is trying to recruit as much Jew into Palestine as possible because they want to be the dominant in that area. Although they don't believe in the Bible, but they want to be the dominant. They want to be able to support themselves because pretty much every single Jew, when they reach the right age, they have to participate in the G-side. They have to pretty much join the IDF. Okay? And so that is one of the driving motives behind their rhetoric and the way they're pretty much acting on social media, despite the warning after warning that, hey, the world hate you. The world hate what you're doing. Why do you keep doing it? It's because of that.
If they're Muslim, they all want to kill you. So remember, hate the Muslims, be wary of everyone else on planet Earth. So I'm here to assure Jewish Americans and Jews across the world, no, I understand why your parents told you that, because obviously the Holocaust, the pogroms, etc. There's good, legitimate historical reasons for being deeply concerned, right? But I'm here to tell you, we don't all hate you. Nobody wants to kill you. So yes, that happened in the 1940s. Yes, it happened in the 1800s. But there isn't like some worldwide movement of, oh, let's all secretly try to kill the Jews while they don't notice. Believe me, you'd notice, okay? So it has led to a massive paranoia, and Israel is now feeding into it. And they feel that if Jews across the world are worried, they'll come home to Israel. Or even if they don't come home, they'll support Israel no matter where they are. Because remember, if you don't support every single thing Israel is doing, they're gonna kill all the Jews. All of your lives are in danger. That's the central fabrication. I understand where it came from, so it's not just a lie. Your parents didn't lie to you, they really did mean it, right? But they're living in a different world, and now it's aided and abetted by Israeli propaganda to make you worried, to make you honestly worry your whole life about whether you're all gonna die and if everybody on the planet hates you. That's not what's happening at all. I grew up in a town that was heavily Jewish, with beautiful Jewish culture. I had no issues at all. It isn't about the Jews. Nobody's got that kind of hostility, etc. Guys, we're criticizing Israel not because they're Jewish, despite the fact that they're Jewish. We're still forced into criticizing them for obvious reasons. This horrific genocide, 20,000 kids dead. Last thing for me is, and as I looked at that study, I was really dispirited by how Israeli propaganda overall has worked. Like they're doing this study because they're like, oh golly gee, it's not working as well as it used to. Let's find a new way to trick people. Let's hire these Americans, etc., and make sure that we could do better propaganda, and mainly driven by hatred towards Muslims while we pretend to care about bigotry. But even despite that, despite their concerns, the average European thinks there's only 30,000 dead in Gaza when the number is well above 70,000 at a minimum.
Well above.
Right? And the average American thinks 10,000 Palestinians have been killed. So their propaganda was so successful, even as the Europeans are enraged over it, they don't know it's more than twice as bad as they think. It's 7 times worse than the average American thinks, and the average American doesn't know anything about the journalists killed, the human rights workers killed, this 83% civilian kill ratio. They don't know any of that because American media favors Israel so much that they view their job as not covering the news, but covering up the news. So that's why Americans never find out, because he can't get past establishment media working as the defenders of Israel.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's pretty much done. There's only like a few minutes left. But yeah, so in conclusion, what I do want to say is that people who are pretty much supporting the genocide that's going on in Palestine, to be quite honest with you, you are doing far more damage than good. You claim to be somebody who is supporting Israel. You claim to be somebody who is a supporter of the Jewish community, but you supporting what's going on is doing more damage. And the reason to that is simply because the world hates what's going on. And so you are saying, I stand with Israel. And so because of that, they should keep doing what they're doing. And this is going to do nothing but to increase hostility toward the Jewish community, because it's only going to reach a certain point to where people are going to stand up. And then whether this Jewish person agree with what's going on in Palestine or doesn't agree with it, people are going to put them all in a single category. And because of your support, because you're not speaking out, that's the result of that. So me speaking out and you calling me an anti-Semite, I say it's the contrary. To be honest with you, I'm saying that, hey, I'm actually trying to protect these people from themselves because they have become danger to themselves. You know what I mean? It's like trying to tell a drug addict, hey, stop doing drugs. And then you like, oh, what, like, what, you hate people who do drugs? Like, no, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to protect you from yourself. And that's a result of that. So the more people that speak out, the more people who stand up and said, this needs to stop. And if it stops, guess what? You will start to see a huge decline in anti-Semitism. But obviously, people who get paid, they only care about the money. They pretend they care about the Jewish community when in reality, they really don't. So if you made it this far, ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. All right, and I'll catch you guys up later.